Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another exciting meeting at ITU Toastmasters. Before we start today, and the bereavement of our frequent guest, Toastmaster Adika from Kazakhstan, I request everyone to keep 2 minutes of silence. You can close your eyes and pray for her soul to attain peace.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. With that note, let me pass the control to one of the exciting leader and also the person who is always bubbly enough to keep the energy live in any meeting. Toastmaster Namitha Nandakumar as the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. Welcome all to the meeting number 220 of International Technical University Toastmasters Club. I am Toastmaster Namitha Nandakumar. As he said, today's theme is travel is fun. Just imagine you saw a beautiful photo somewhere in a magazine, on Instagram, on Facebook, or on a postcard. You feel like traveling there. You feel like going physically there, meeting new people, trying out new dishes, buying new clothes from there. You book your tickets, you pack your bags, and you're ready to leave. How excited will you feel? And that is how I feel today in this meeting, traveling with you in this theme, in this virtual environment, and enjoying our collaboration here to make this club successful. Now, we all love to travel. I'm pretty sure most of us have traveled to some place, somewhere, whether it will be in your own state, your own province, your own country, or maybe outside your country. So does anyone want to share some fun experiences you had while you traveled somewhere? Anyone? Come on, don't be shy. I'm pretty sure you had some fun experience somewhere.
Okay, let me share. When we were staying 3 years back before COVID, we used to stay in a location where it used to take 1.5 to 2 hours to travel to our workplace. So I used to think that this is the longest journey ever I am going to do, because I had to do that every day 2 times. So overall 3 hours, I used to have my breakfast, pack my lunch and dinner into the car, and then start my journey. By the time I reach office, I used to complete my lunch. And by the time I come back, I used to complete my dinner. So I used to feel that my whole life is in this travel only. And the best companion in the car was my husband, who used to work along with me and go along with me. And we used to have all our conversations, our financial discussions, everything in that car. So whenever someone reminds me of your journey, I will think about that only. Now I move to a location where it takes 15 minutes, no lunch, no breakfast, nothing in the car. I'm just going and coming back.
That must be fun to have a soulmate who is so considerate and reliable, you know. Whenever I used to travel, I used to go in public transport and all, and you know how cumbersome that is. Forget that. I have been to few places, and one of the most interesting place I would say would be a place called Tivoli in Copenhagen, that is in Denmark. I used to stay there. I used to work there for a brief period of time, and That place is heaven. Tivoli had so many carnivals, so many festivals, even concerts. I attended the concert of an old band from 70s, which is called AHA. They are, I believe, Scandinavian band. They have very good songs, very famous songs like Take On Me and Sun Shines on TV. It is not a very popular band like say Coldplay or Linkin Park, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because my friend introduced that particular band to me with few of her favorite songs. I traveled with her. I did not travel with my partner because my partner was just not willing to be flexible and take me there. So I made a friend in Denmark where I did not know Danish. She was from UK. She was there for some other purpose. I was there for some other purpose. I was there with my partner and she was there for her work. She was a nurse. And I made a new friend on my travel. And trust me, it was worth the experience because that was the first concert of my life. That was the first live audio visual experience for me. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was one of the dreams where I wanted to always attend a concert. I used to see on YouTube, I used to see on TV. It used to feel like fun, and it actually is fun. That is why we should sometimes take a break from the work, go on vacation, get refreshed, and come back with full energy to do our work with enthusiasm. Now, enough about all that. I can keep speaking about all this for long. Let me introduce to the role players of today, starting with do we have a, yeah, with our tag team. Let me call upon the timer of today. The timer will be played by Toastmaster Madam Julie. So over to you.
Yes, I will be your timer and I'm going to show you the minimum time will be green, half time will be yellow, and the finish of your speech will be red. Depending on what type of things I'm going to type, the speeches will be 5 to 7 minutes. The table topics 1 to 2 minutes, and the evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. And all the three are going to have the minimum green, mid yellow, and the virtual background will be red when it's over, and you will get some grace period. But when you see the yellow, we advise you to try to look for the finishing sentences. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Julie. Now, I see someone new here, a new face. It's Savita Katse. Are you there? Savita? Okay, I think she's away. So next, I'll call upon the R counter. R counter is Toastmaster Kranti. I would like to ask you, what was the most fun experience you had on your travels? I'm sure you must have had one place that you feel like going back and visiting again. Over to you.
Is it for me?
Yes,
Can
Kranti.
you repeat the question, please, if you don't mind?
Okay, can you just describe a fun experience in a place you traveled to, you visited on vacation, and you want to visit that place again to feel those memories and moments, you know?
Okay, I generally go for a very long road trips. Okay, and the most recent one I've been was like in the monsoons that I visit some hill stations. So it will be like drizzling and traveling places around. It makes more fun and give more energy to me. And that's it. Uh, I keep it short or here. Nothing very specific places.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kranti. Yeah, I agree. That was a specific question. I was trying to make it easier for you. Can you please describe your role as the AHA counter today?
Yeah, I'm going to have a pen and paper with me. I'm trying to note down the names and I'm trying to note down how many times the people are using the similar words. I just give you a very example that when you started your speech, you used in this twice and like twice. Okay, yes, I'm just just trying to make down the R's and all, counting them. Yeah, that's it. Looking forward.
Thank you so much. Now, the grammarian of today is Madam Susan. Before you describe your role, can you just tell me some unique incident that happened to you on your travels? Over to you.
I had the great privilege of traveling with a group of adult Girl Scouts to the World Centers of Girl Scouting in London, England, and in Switzerland at the Chalet, and in between a few extra countries through Europe, such as it was Tuesday, it must be Belgium, that was rushing through. We went to France, arrived there on my birthday, opened the curtains up and saw the Eiffel Tower at my window. And we went through Switzerland and Germany. It was a marvelous 2-week trip. And we had an amazing time meeting up with other Girl Scouts, girls and adults, in England and in Switzerland. It was the most darling experience. I very much appreciated it.
Wow, those places are on my bucket list, like Paris, Switzerland. I hope I will get to see those places sometime later in my life. Could you please describe your role as a grammarian and give us the word of the day?
Fine. The word of the day today is audacity, and it has two different meanings. One is a willingness to take bold risks, such as her audacity came in handy during the most recent emergency. The second meaning is rude or disrespectful behavior, impudence, such as she had the audacity to pick up the receiver and ask me to hang up. So it can be two very diverse items. I will be looking for uses of the word of the day and also any grammar that is done incorrectly that I can determine, and even good phrases, things that are standouts. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Madam Susan. I have the audacity to be myself and be outspoken. Trust me, how many times I got scolded by my parents for being outspoken? They think that I'm rude or I'm answering them back. Well, no, I'm just outspoken, but who will tell my dear parents? Anyway, so now I'll introduce you to the next role player, that is evaluator of the first speaker. Toastmaster Kalpana, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Namitha. Today, we have Toastmaster Joy giving her level 2 speech from Strategic Relation Pathway. And the objective of the program is project is to introduce to the Toastmaster mentorship and talk about the aspects of strategy. And the speech title is Mentorship. Timer, please note, timing is for 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Mentorship, Toastmaster Joy, mentorship. Over to you.
When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child, and I reasoned like a child. But when I became old, I put all my childish ways behind me. Toastmasters and guests, the journey of putting my childish ways behind me did not happen overnight. It took 3 matriarchs in my life for me to improve and to grow. They mentored me and they invested in my growth. The very first and the chief of my family is my grandmother, Anne Irene Chiwanuka. I remember her just before the crack of dawn, getting her notebook or her diary and jotting down all the activities from her day, one by one. She set out to plan her day before attempting anything on her daily plan. When I accompanied her for her daily errands, she asked me 2 questions. Joy, what is your plan for today? I looked at her as a little girl, wondering what was she talking about. The second question she would ask, what's your first activity, my granddaughter? And what's your last activity? My grandma was my first life coach. She taught me the value of being organized. And today, I may not jot down all of my activities on a piece of paper, but I will be sure to put them in my Google Calendar each and every day. The second lady is my cousin, Auntie Kate. And you must be wondering, how can I refer to my cousin as an aunt? Well, in my culture, if somebody is older than you, you refer to them as an aunt or as an uncle. So my cousin was much older than me, and I referred to her as Auntie Kate. Woe unto you if you had the audacity to refer to them just by their first name. Auntie Kate is the reason I know how to hold a knife. I vividly remember my first cooking experience. Toastmasters and guests, a lot of confusion happened that day. I couldn't figure out how to hold the knife. I couldn't figure out what came first in the pan. Should I put the onions? Should I put the tomatoes? I couldn't stop the streaming tears that came from peeling that onion. And poor Auntie Kate, she looked at me in wonder and amusement, but with patience, perseverance, and grace. She taught me the basic skills of cooking. And I can now boast as the best family chef. And I use some of these skills to make some extra cash over the weekends. But that is a skill I learned from my Aunt Kate. The third and the final matriarch is my own mother, Dr. Christine Navillo, distinguished Toastmaster. In 2018, she encouraged me to join Toastmasters, and she's the reason that I have grown in my communication and leadership. When I joined Toastmasters, her first challenge to me was, Joy, we're going to charter our first home club. We only had one club in Uganda. And she said, we're going to charter the second club in Uganda. I looked at her and I wondered, wow, my first challenge as a new Toastmaster is to establish a club with 20 members. Where was I going to get all these members from? She said, Joy, it's okay. We'll draw up a plan together. In a record 3 months, we chartered our home club, Luboa Toastmasters Club. And we went on to charter 2 other clubs, Muyenga Toastmasters, Kampala Sunrise Toastmasters. And we were Toastmasters for just 2 years. These groundbreaking achievements enabled me to stand as a club officer in my country, as a 2-time Vice President Education for my home club, as an area director last year, and currently as the Division Quality Director for District 114, East Africa. My journey on chartering these clubs taught me invaluable skills in motivating teams, because it takes a lot to coordinate and mobilize people, perseverance, resilience, hard work. It was a lot of hard work. But I thank her for helping me step out of my comfort zone to do those things that are uncomfortable. But looking back, reflect on the growth of over 60 Toastmasters that have gone through this club. Beyond the leadership, distinguished Toastmaster Christine has also mentored me on my communication skills. She reviews my speeches, she listens to my delivery and gives me feedback. It's too early for her to be on the call this morning. It's morning our side, but I owe all the improvement to her. At the end of this year, I will apply for my Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And I'll be the youngest Distinguished Toastmaster in Uganda. I don't know where my journey would be without her careful and audacious support. This morning, as I reflect on my journey, my communication, right from when I was a girl, my grandmother, my Aunt Kate, and my mother, Dr. Christine, I am proud of who I am becoming. And I can attest that when I was a child, I did think like a child. I did speak like a child. And I did think and reason like a child. But because of those three matriarchs, I am no longer childish in my ways. This morning, I hope you too can reflect on the people that have contributed to who you're becoming. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Joy, for that pleasant speech. And I learned from you how to give a project in that strategic relationship. That's my next project, actually. And trust me, I'm still childish. I behave like a child sometimes. Sometimes it happens with me. I don't know why. Anyway, moving forward, I would like to call upon the evaluator of the next speaker, Toastmaster Swati. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Namitha. Toastmaster Ayushi is going to give her speech on the project evaluation and feedback speech. Her level is level 1 and the pathway is persuasive influence. And her speech title is Inevitable Truth of Life. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Swati. Inevitable Truth of Life, Toastmaster Ayushi. Toastmaster Ayushi, Inevitable Truth of Life. Over to you.
As per saying, the reality is that you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one. You will learn to live with it, and eventually you will heal. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my fellow Toastmaster and my dear guest. It took me a while to come up with this speech. As for me, it was very difficult to put it in words. 20th September 2020. I got the most devastating news. That is, my mother diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4. My life turned upside down after that incident. Soon, my parents moved in with us. Life was like a roller coaster after that. We had our own share of good days, but I wouldn't say bad, but yes, difficult days. During those good days, we used to gossip a lot. We used to watch movies together. She became my best friend during that period. As time passes by, she became more weaker day by day due to the chemotherapy. I lost my mother on January 31st, 2022. I saw her going. Last few days were extremely painful for her and for us as well. I was a bit relaxed because with this, she ended her suffering. But her absence was so much painful. Yes, I was aware of her condition since the beginning of her treatment, but I tried to be stable both mentally and emotionally. I failed miserably. I think we can never prepare ourselves for something like this. Sorry. Sorry, because of cough. But initial days were very lonely and painful because she was the backbone of our family. I used to gossip a lot with her. We used to talk over phone like 10 to 12 times a day and used to give every single detail of each other's life to each other. But life, I was feeling like there is nothing I should live for. I was in a very low phase. I thought I'll feel better if I change my place. So after a few days, I came back to Hyderabad. This is when it hit me hard. I was missing her a lot. I was missing her talk, her suggestions, and everything. It was very, very much hard. I remember I used to get those visuals of her last days if I tried to close my eyes. It was much painful to express in words. I was stressed and I was falling sick gradually. One fine day, I went to my doctor's for my routine checkup. It is he who pointed out I started developing stress and anxiety issues. This is when I got my wake up call because I was overthinking a lot and there is nothing I was doing for it. I was unable to share my thoughts with anyone, but somehow I started sharing my thoughts with my husband, Gab. That I felt a bit relaxed. Maybe yes, I was overthinking a lot. Slowly, I started gathering myself and reading a lot about grief, the process, how to handle the process, and everything. I felt much better. Meanwhile, I got in touch with DTM Raghu. Trust me that during that period, I was only thinking he is the only person who can understand me. Few things I started doing to feel better. There is a book called Death by Sadhguru. I read that book. I got to know a lot about death, the grief process, and the rituals that performed during that period. I started writing my thoughts in a diary. That helped me a lot. Whenever I miss her, I usually cook my favorite food in her style. That includes our Odia cuisine. In this way, I can remember our good times together. Meditation, journaling, and working out help me a lot to get fit both mentally and physically. I started spending more time with myself. If I'm feeling sad today also, then I'll usually watch something nice on TV or read a book or talk to someone I admire. That is how I'm coping up with this loss. The only thing that helped me somewhat is try to step back and realize life in this world is very short and time flies really fast. That means sooner than we will ever know. And death is inevitable. Sooner or later, we all have to leave this earth. It is very important to go through the process of grief to become stronger. And acknowledging this is the first step of healing process. But lastly, I am slowly learning how to just be in the moment. There is no way we could control our life, but we can only experience its light and dark phases. Yes, It is true, there is a void that can never be filled, but the values, the love, memory she taught me and gave me is going to stay with me forever. I miss her every single day. The one thing I would like to tell you is if you are staying with your parents, go give them a big round hug and tell them how much you love them. Truly, you will not get over the loss of a loved one and eventually you will learn to live with it. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. Your speech made me very emotional and I'm really sorry for your loss. Well, all I can say is I'm sure you'll get over it. You are a strong person. And I would say just book a vacation because that gives you the hope, that I'm going to visit this place and I will be happy there. I'll enjoy the place. So that's what I did when I was facing a crisis. I've been traveling frequently these days now because I'm also trying to get over something that has really jolted me in my life. So I totally understand what you're going through. Now, moving forward, I would like to call upon our Toastmaster who is always smiling, who is always friendly, and who is now dressed in pretty yellow. Toastmaster Viveka, over to you.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Namitha. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening to all. I am table topic master for the day. Sorry, Namitha, this is my first time. I'm supposed to give the topics as well, right? This is the thing, right?
Yes, you are here.
Okay, so this is a very interesting portion of table topic master. I joined, before joining Toastmasters, I joined a club as a guest, and I was given a very simple impromptu, which was, what's your New Year resolution? And they asked me to speak on it for about 2 minutes. And usually I don't falter, but that day I was frozen. And that day I realized that I was completely frozen. I just couldn't speak. I couldn't muster up the courage to get a structured paragraph, a few lines on a simple topic like what's your New Year resolution? I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, resolution, New Year, what's happening? What am I supposed to say? People were looking at me and they were saying, just speak something, speak something, speak something. I couldn't. I simply couldn't. At that time, I felt lost, that I don't know the language. I don't understand what the person is talking about. I was completely frozen. And that's when I decided that I need to join Toastmasters. So it's an interesting way, table topic is a very interesting way to improve your impromptu, which is on the spot thinking. And it is very difficult. Yes, speech is an essential part of Toastmasters, but impromptu, I guess, is more difficult, at least for me. So I shall be throwing some easy questions like impromptu, and I guess people have to speak maximum for about 2 minutes and minimum, yes, of course, 1 minute or 50 seconds, whatever. But be easy, breathe a little and go for it. So I shall be, anybody wants to nominate himself or herself for it? Or shall I just, oh, wow, Namitha, you're always excited. So great. Namitha, your question is, your first childhood travel story. I'm sure you have a great to share. A lot to share.
Well, my parents love to travel. My grandfather was working in Air India. And as an Air India pilot, they had the privilege of free travel for the family members. Now, my dad took full advantage of that. And he traveled to Hong Kong, he traveled to London, he traveled to Singapore, he traveled to Malaysia, all by his own solo traveler in the 70s. And when I was born a premature baby. I needed a lot of care, a lot of attention, a lot of medical help. And my parents were constricted into a room because that room needs to be sterilized in the way that I don't get infected. And the first chance they got to travel was to Kuwait, to my father's sister's place, my Bua's place. Bua is the paternal aunt in Hindi. We went there in Kuwait. I don't remember a single thing. I was a 1-year-old toddler, and I saw the photos, and I used to scold my parents as a child. I used to demand, why didn't you take me there now? Why did you take me when I was a baby? I don't even remember what that place is like. It looks so colorful. It looks so happy. I want to go there now. I do not want to go to Kerala to my grandmother's place. I do not want to visit relatives. I do not want to spend my summer vacation doing homework and going to relatives' place and listen to them ask about my marks. I want to travel to Kuwait now. Take me there right now. I was an audacious and stubborn child. I used to pester them every vacation, and my poor mom wanted to keep me entertained. She used to buy me puzzle books. She used to buy me crafts book to keep me entertained, keep me occupied so that she can do her housework. So that's about it. Over to you, Toastmaster Viveka.
Thank you, Namitha. That was an interesting story indeed. This is what I love about you. You know, you're just given a topic and you can speak about it. That's a very good thing. Okay, so next one. Who's going to nominate? Or shall I just pick random? Guys, come on, nominate. Do we have guests today, Namitha?
No, you just pick someone, man. That's fine.
Okay, today, okay. Kalpana. Kalpana, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
I'm sure Kalpana is going to rock. So your question is, recent read book or movie which has inspired you? Book or movie which has inspired you?
Okay. There was one movie which I watched sometime back soon after opening all the theaters after the COVID, and that was a movie where three friends team up together and they do all things in reverse way, and they finally land into troubles and then come out of that situation. And it was completely fun filled movie, and we were laughing like anything, and there is no logic at all in that movie. But what I loved in that is, even when we have some situations, hurdles or anything, they shown us a way where we can laugh and come out of it, where we can say that, we can handle things in more positive and better way. That is what I liked in that movie, especially when I see that life always pushes us into some place where we have to do one or the other thing, and we have to make choices, and we don't know what will be the choice. I know that if I put salt in curry, it is going to taste good, but if that inequality is increased, then the salt will damage the taste of the curry. So we don't know what could be the result of the activity that we are going to perform. But if we say that, okay, little salt is more, we may add little of curd and make it neutral, or a lemon will help us. So I feel that when we have that approach, life will always take us to the positive notes, and we will have it, because a fake smile also creates a lot of positivity in our body, instead of having a drop of tear that comes out of our eye. So this logic is something which I really liked in that movie. And if you can understand Telugu, you all should watch that movie. And the movie title is, I forgot what is it. It's a title where they say people are useless. That is the title. I will share it. Thank you,
Jatiratnam.
table topic. Yeah, Jati Ratnalu. Thank you, Kranti. I totally went blank there. See, I got someone to help me. Thank you, Kranti. You should watch Jati Ratnalu, which means national diamonds. Over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Kalpana. That was what to say. I loved your logic of yogurt and lemon. That was good. I mean, especially related to life. So when we have problems, we should, act on them and be happy. Positivity. Okay, so who should be the next one? Guys, come on, nominate. Susan, would you like to take one?
Surely, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, that's the spirit. Susan, Paulo Coelho said, if you think adventure is dangerous, try routine. It's lethal. What are your views on this?
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, I'm at a stage in life where walking across the street or across the room can be lethal. But I have a daughter who is misadventure to the 9th degree. A few years ago, she decided she was going to jump out of a plane. Of course, parachuting, but why would any decent, smart human being choose to jump out of a perfectly good plane? It is beyond my comprehension. But she has the daring spirit, and she is willing to take that calculated risk. She knows they've trained her. She knows she's in tandem with someone. She saw no lethal options. Her mother-in-law decided to take the children, my daughter's children, to go watch. And I'm sitting here in Florida thinking, oh my goodness, she's jumping out of a plane. What kind of an example is she for her children? And perish the thought, if she were to be injured, they would be scarred for life having seen that. No, I'll take the danger of walking across the living room. That's about as much as I can handle at the moment. I'm not about to take any other bigger chances than that. Madam Topic Master.
I loved it, Susan. I always love the way you speak. So much to learn. But this was really interesting. Okay, so the next one. Raghu, are you there? Because I need a meal for this. Is Raghu around?
You can call Kranti.
Oh, okay. Kranti, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Kranti, the question is, if you were to be a girl or female for a day, what would you do? I just wanted to make it a little funny. Let's see.
I mean, it's a very difficult one. I don't know. I don't see any differences between male and female, to be very specific. And that's where I'm feeling it very difficult to answer this question. And but just to answer that, but just to take it as like a question and answer, right? I would be like a mother and see how they are doing the multitasking and the way they're handling things. And being a male and it just still the society is still looking at like mother has to take the more care and despite having their own responsibilities, and few working professionals as well, we have to give them a big kudos. So if I was provided an opportunity, I would see and see how being a mother and like a working professional. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Kranti. It was good. Actually, the best thing I liked about your impromptu was that you said that there's no difference between the two genders. That was amazing. I guess. Okay, so do we have time, Namitha?
Timer, can you please tell us, do we have time?
I think you can take one last one, Vivek.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can take one last one, right? Yuli? Yeah. Shall I go ahead?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay,
So Yuli, it's for you.
okay. I take the audacity.
Yeah, that's the way. Good. Who's your favorite childhood hero?
Who is my favorite childhood what?
Childhood hero, actor, hero.
Hero?
Yeah.
Childhood hero? Well, I would say, let's choose my mama. My mama was my childhood hero because I know that she lived through 2 world wars, 2 revolutions, lost 2 children and a husband, and she was still an optimistic, wonderful person. I really think I wish I had her strength and audacity to carry on with life after so much that she went through. And when my brother left Hungary and then I left Hungary, she didn't complain. She was left behind. Of course, we were able to support her financially, and she came to visit us and we went to visit her, but she never complained. I think, Viveka, my mom is not only my childhood hero, but my hero, period. Thank you very much.
That's really nice. I think we are done for the day, for at least table topics. Over to you. It was amazing. Over to you, Namitha.
Thank you so much for the wonderful and thought-provoking topics, Viveka. And now we have to start the evaluations part. I would like to call upon Toastmaster Kalpana to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Joy. Over to you.
Toastmaster Joy. Your speech reminded me of all my mentors who supported me throughout my journey of learning. Today, I represent as a dancer or I represent as a Toastmaster. I have mentor, and special thanks to my mentor who is in this room, Toastmaster Raghu, who helped me to become a Toastmaster, and I always bug him. So I just went through all my learnings and journey when you have explained. Thanks to you. I feel that a mentor is someone who doesn't lead the way, who stays with us and shows the path and builds courage, saying that, yes, you can do it. Toastmaster Joy, even your speech told me that your mentor was in support with you and told you how you can become a Toastmaster and how you can charter club. I'm sure that experience have definitely helped you to learn and improve as a communicator and a leader. I would like to tell you few of the recommendations in your speech where you'll be able to implement and better your speech. One, I would like to tell you to bring in your elements of learning and give some examples on how you have got help from your mentor on the improvement of communication. Yes, I could know that you were able to charter 3 clubs. You are youngest distinguished Toastmaster, but I would like to know as an orator how you were before you joined Toastmasters and what skills you have implemented after you become a Toastmaster. Some examples, I was giving very fast speech earlier. Now I have ensured that I will take some pauses and build in. Something like this would have made your speech more connected for us. And two, I felt that somewhere you have returned to the words which you have already delivered. Little practice would help you to avoid those situations. Overall, the best factor was you have organized your speech very well and you have delivered with utmost confidence, which I liked the most in your speech. And I wish you all the best for your DTM and upcoming speeches. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kalpana. Now, to evaluate Toastmaster Ayushi's speech, let me call upon Toastmaster Swati. Toastmaster Swati, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Namitha. First of all, I'm really sorry for your mother's loss. I can feel like how one of a parent is always special in our life. And by your speech, I could really connect with you. So how emotionally you were affected with her loss. So, and I was really admiring your vulnerability here. So you were exposing yourself emotionally to all the audience here. So you gathered courage to do that. So hats off to that. And you had a good title, so Inevitable Truth of Life, and you connected it in the conclusion saying death is the inevitable truth of life. And you also had good usage of words in your speech, like roller coaster, backbone, and few other words as well. And even before introducing the title, you had 2 or 3 sentences as quotes describing your title, like Inevitable Truth of Life. That was a great opening for your speech. And you had a good eye contact on camera. So you were not like looking around or somewhere else. So you had a good eye contact. And I have only one suggestion. So I was not able to see your hand gestures during the first half of the meeting. Maybe it was the camera or something, some other thing. So yeah, overall, the best part I loved about your speech was you being confident and vulnerable about your emotional feelings. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Swati. Now, after all this, we have to know how well we did with our time, with our filler words, and with our grammar, using the word of the day and good usages, bad usages, not so pleasant, but very perfect usages. But for that, I'll have to call the reporters of those reports. Let me call upon first Toastmaster Julie to give us the timers report. Over to you.
I would be glad to give you the timer report. The first speaker, Joy, was 7 minutes and 3 seconds within the time. The second speech, Ayushia, it was 7 minutes and 59 seconds, a little overrun. We didn't mind it, but I'm just have to say what I learned. The table topics were all within the time. Namitha was 2:02, Kalpana was 2:15, Susan was 1:17, Kranti was 1 minute, and Julie was 1:16. The evaluators, Kalpana was 2:30, right on target, and Swati was 1:30. And that is my timer report for you. Back to Namitha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Julie, for that, what to say, precise report. I'm sorry. Yeah. So now let me call upon Toastmaster Susan for the grammarians report. Over to you.
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. The word of the day was used by Namitha, and she also used a variance of audacious, which was also acceptable. Joy used both audacity and audacious, and Julie used audacity twice. In the challenge to grammar, I heard Ayushi, you said very much hard, and although it may be grammatically correct, it is a bit awkward. You could leave out the much and just say very hard, and that would be very powerful rather than very much hard. And Kalpana, you said better your speech, and you might say improve your speech or make your speech better. On the good terminologies, Joy, you said at the crack of dawn, and that was so specific, and it caught my attention. It grabbed and let us know exactly when that moment was. And Viveka, you talked about mustering up the courage. That's a wonderful phrase for us. It is not typically used in everyday conversation, so I really appreciated that you had the audacity to say that, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that report. Now let me call upon the R counter of today, Toastmaster Kranti. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks for the wonderful session and the engaging speeches. I tried my best to capture the So I go one by one. Namitha, you have used in this twice, like twice, and you use many times and. Okay. So, and travel thrice. I agree, but this is because of the context that you are using, and that's a subject. It's okay. And now you have used 5 to 6 times, and I do not thrice, entertain twice. So yeah, that's it. And mostly I can say like you have used and many times, maybe you can correct on that. Next, next is Kalpana. I think speech was proper and I couldn't find anything there. When it comes to joy, you have used child and childish. Again, that is again the subject. You have started off your speech. You have used child as thrice, childish as twice, and you have used the word of the day audacity as once, which is good. And I don't see any other corrections in your speech or like any other R counters. When it comes to Ayushi on the inevitable truth of life, you have used sorry thrice, maybe just because you got a cough. It's okay. And you have used gossip twice, once, and I was as twice. And Viveka, you have used 5 times and twice. So, but other than that, you are too good at the way you are pronouncing and all. And that's it. If you have any feedback for me, it would be great. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kranti. That was a good report. And after this, I don't see any guests. So we have 2 more minutes, but I would like to conclude this meeting. Thank you so much for joining today. And over to you, Toastmaster Raghu or Kalpana. You can take it forward.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful meeting. So I will stop recording.